Welcome back, Wolfpack Verlis here, and today we are looking at the top 10 Kalos Pokemon again. So back when I initially made the list, I was really pushing for Furfrou and Carbink to be busted. I was trying to figure out, where could the top 10 Pokemon be? What if something becomes really crazy, like a new Pokemon just gets a really good strategy and it starts getting really insane? So I was trying to also try to fit Pokemon where they could be like, hey, this Pokemon has a lot of potential, I'm going to put it lower on the list kind of idea. But now the game's been out for almost a year, my goodness. Let's go and look at the top 10 Kalos Pokemon again. And number 10, I have Florges. Florges is an incredible special defensing wall stall kind of Pokemon that has some of the highest special defense in the game, really good hit points, and then once you balance it out, you can just Wish, Protect, Toxic, and Dazzling Gleam stall your opponent out. If they only have special attackers, the game is over for them once Florges comes out. And it just becomes a very strong Pokemon for it, so number 10. And then next on the list, I have number 9, Noivern. I think Noivern is still a bit overlooked right now, that with its Infiltrator ability, it should be getting a lot more play. It breaks down Baton Pass chains, it hits through Substitute, in double battles it hits through Light Screen Reflect. There's a lot of things this guy can do with huge amounts of speed. Without any speed investment, you're at 345. That's awesome. You keep just going in now, that means you can go with a modest nature, get as much out of your special attack as possible, throw on some choice specs or a life orb. You have an almost signature move, Boom Burst, that hits really hard. You get dragon coverage, you have air slash, and then you can get fire. So good amount of coverage, strong hits overall, versatility in singles and double battles, and then the Infiltrator ability with that speed. I think Noivern, it should get a little more play, so I think it's just a very, very strong Pokemon overall. Number 8, we have Goodra. Goodra's a really strong Pokemon. I feel that when I first looked at Goodra, I didn't see a lot of potential, but it still has a huge special defense. It still has huge hit points. People are running Assault Vest on it and getting incredible amounts of work out of it. That, it has a great special attack base, that you can make its special attack work really well, that you can give it a huge variety of moves, that it has, everything from Ice Beam to Dragon Pulse, all the elemental typings. You have poison typing as well, so you can also kind of try to counter out fairies. And overall, Goodra has the huge base stats of a pseudo-legendary Pokemon, and it really becomes like a reliable tank from it. Alright, number 7, we have Hawlucha. Hawlucha is a Pokemon that I wasn't really thinking is incredibly strong, but with its Unburden ability, it can become really strong. You want to put a lot of points into its attack, you have a good base speed to work out with, so you could go Adamant Nature, have the Unburden proc from there. A lot of people have been mixing it up and giving us some extra hit point bulk, and you can run it in singles or doubles, that you can, fling a King's Rock, get your Unburden, get that flinch with a good speed priority, and then now you have a lot of things. In double battles, people like running it with Quick Guard, you have Sky Drop for the temporary stall kind of notion. It also has Flying Press, High Jump Kick, and just, a lot of strong moves going for it. Yeah. So on top of that, this is just a strong Pokemon that has it has an interesting typing that ends up being pretty good, and I feel it has a lot of potential and can be used very well. Alright, next on the list, we have number 6, Slurpuff. Slurpuff is one of my gems of this generation. I didn't think it would be as much of a gem as it turned out to be. That, the Unburden ability again, when the item is lost, speed is doubled. So a lot of people, you just go Belly Drum with Citrus Berry. Belly Drum drops you to half, Citrus Berry procs, now you have max attack and double speed in one turn. On top of that, it also has Calm Mind and Cotton Guard, so it can become a huge setup tank, and then it has a lot of options from there. So overall, Slurpuff, I think it's a Pokemon that has a lot of versatility, can be a very strong option, sets up almost instantly, and can sweep down a majority of someone's team. Alright, number 5. I think I might get some hate for this one, but I put Talonflame at number 5. Gale Wings is an incredible move, or incredible ability indeed, that it gives priority to Flying type, which means your Brave Bird is going to outspeed and out KO a majority of the things in the game. I think the biggest thing holding Talonflame back is that, with fairness, it doesn't have a lot of attack, that, you almost have to go Choice Band, you almost have to go Life Orb, you have to give it that Adamant Nature. Now, fortunately, Talonflame does have a great speed, that, without speed investment, it's still really fast, but since you're using the Gale Wings, it kind of makes it to where, do you want to put all that speed investment, how much do you need it? People can run it really stallsy, though, you have Roost with hit point bulk, so Talonflame does have a lot of versatility, does have a lot of KO potential, but I think that, as a sweeper, it's a bit overrated just because it's all priority, it's all recoil, and it doesn't have the craziest amount of offenses to make use of it. That's just my opinion. Alright, number 4, Klefki. Klefki is such a good Pokemon. It can be used in singles, doubles. The Prankster ability on a Steel Fairy typing, that's fairly defensive. Like, Klefki could have a little better defenses, but overall, you know, you get some decent bulk. You can Prankster into Light Screen Reflect and, you know, double those defenses before your opponent even makes a move. You also have the opportunity to Iron Defense, Calm Mind. You can Swag Play with Foul Play, Swagger, and Thunder Wave. I mean, Klefki is the main reason why Swagger got banned in Smogon. So it's a very strong Pokemon, has a lot of options, and it's one of my favorite Pokemon as well. Don't think that that's clouding my judgment for the list. I've made it work, many people have made it work, and it can be a good singles or doubles Pokemon depending on how you want to break it down. Alright, number 3, Greninja. Greninja is one of the best starter type Pokemon, pretty much besides Blaziken and some of the first gens, like, you know, Blastoise and Charizard, since they have Megas, are very strong. But Greninja is just absurd. You can give it a timid nature, make it one of the fastest Pokemon in the game, and now, because of its Protean hidden ability, everything gets stabbed. So it's like everything has 50% more special attack on it while getting an insane amount of coverage. You have Dark, Ice, Water, Grass, Rocks, what else? Psychic. Pretty much all the coverage you need. If you hit someone super effective with a Greninja, even with like a timid nature, if you have Life Orb or something like that, they're going to get KO'd most of the time. And that's just because Greninja's insane speed, good coverage, shuts down a lot of Pokemon, and it's just a very, very strong Pokemon to have on your team as well because of that Protean. Alright, number 2. Who can number 2 be after all I've gone through? Like, I've already taken out Talonflame and Greninja. Barbaracle. Honestly, Barbaracle is one of the strongest Pokemon I've seen because it's the first Pokemon to have a good amount of reliable speed, a huge amount of attack, and Shell Smash. I mean, with the Shell Smash and having enough speed to where you can outspeed almost anything, even a lot of Scarf Pokemon, and then your attack starts going well over 600. I think it gets close to, yeah, gets close to 700 at level 100. This thing, and then, oh yeah, and then it also has Tough Claws ability, so when it makes contact with Razor Shell, Night Slash, it just does too much damage. Once you get that Shell Smash, it outspeeds and out KOs almost every Pokemon. That, you know, it is a bit tricky to set up. I mean, once you put a Focus Sash on it, you essentially have free setup from there, you know. Free Shell Smash. Other than that, you only really have to worry about priority. That is a threat in singles, but until that, you know, if you can get rid of those threats, you can win the game. Like, my philosophy for Barbaracle is remove priority. If you beat your opponent's priority and then bring in Barbaracle, you can easily take the game from there. Also, in double battles, it gets Rock Slide, hit both of your opponents for pretty much a KO, have another Quick Guard Pokemon, keep it safe, and Barbaracle is just going to do a lot of work from there. And then number 1, you know, the number 1 Kalos Pokemon, everyone has probably expected this one by now, Aegislash. Aegislash is the most mechanical Pokemon in the game. I will say that until they somehow introduce something more mechanically tuned than Aegislash, or I'll just keep saying it until the day I die. That if you're a master of Aegislash, if you know what you're doing, you know how to transition between King Shield, understand the opportunities of taking a Swords Dance, using risks, out predictions, knowing your opponent better than they know themselves, you can win the game with Aegislash. At the same time, if you don't, you falter, you underestimate your damage, or you overestimate your damage, you could lose. And it's a free Pokemon to give up. It also has some versatility. People are running sub-stall sets, also special attacking sets. Well, I think those are the worst of the sets because they don't have the mass sweeping potential. Aegislash does have a lot of variability, a lot of viability, and a lot of mechanics behind it. So that's the top 10 Kalos Pokemon if I had to look at the list again. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you all have a nice day.